Okay, it's another beautiful Sunday, and it's Galaxy Television, and the program is Democracy and the Rule of Law. I'm Solomon Offem. You're welcome to the show. Let's quickly take a look at what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, insecurity, it's keep getting worse by the day. Niger State Governor Abubakar Bello on Saturday met with the freed abductors from government science secondary school, Kagara. And on the flip side, the Zamfara State Police Command reported that 317 students were abducted by gunmen on Friday, and the country's latest mass kidnapping and a rescue operation was underway. We're going to be taking a look at that. They freed Kagara students versus the Zamfara, the new latest abductees from Zamfara. Then secondly, many Nigerians on social media have condemned the arrest of Salihu Tanko Yakasai hours after criticizing the President, General Buhari, over the rise in school kidnapping. He is the aide to Governor Abdullahi Ganduje of Kano State. We'll be taking a look at that. And then our third topic for discussion, the Nigerian Senate Tuesday confirmed as non-career diplomat the country's 5 ex-service chiefs, despite opposition to that. And finally, the Nigerian Senate approved a sum of 11.35 billion naira as a 2020 budget for the Nigerian Police Trust Fund. We're going to be taking a look at how this will impact their performance, especially this time where security situation is on the rise and fast. This is what we're going to be talking about today on Democracy and the Rule of Law. We'll go for a break. When we come back, I have my guests. I introduce them and we'll start talking. We'll be right back. Okay, if you're just tuning in, this is Democracy and the Rule of Law on Galaxy Television, and I'm Solomon Offem. I have a barrister, Evans Ufili, is a legal practitioner, and he'll be joining us for the first time since I started this show. So I know you were regular in once upon a time. Good to have you join us again, sir.
Thank you very much.
And of course, I have a barrister, James Ononiwu. I got it right, right? You're welcome to the show today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And from Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, I have a barrister, Ajibola Kaka. He's a legal practitioner joining us via Zoom. Good to have you join us on the program today, Barrister Kaka. Okay, he will join us when he is okay. Now, let's quickly take a look at the first topic for discussion. Now, the Niger State Governor Abubakar Bello on Saturday met with the freed abductees from government science secondary school, Kagara. The abductees, comprising of students, staff, and staff relatives, regained their freedom earlier at 4 a.m. on Saturday. The governor said, according to Bello, one of the victims is in the hospital suffering from excessive exhaustion. Bello did not comment on whether a ransom was paid for the victims released, but they said it was a joint effort by security agencies, traditional rulers, and the rescue operations was underway. The Zamfara State Police Command, on the other hand, police in northwest Nigeria said 317 students were abducted by gunmen on Friday in the country's latest mass kidnapping and rescue operation. is underway. The police, in collaboration with the military, have commenced a joint search and rescue operations with a view to rescuing the student kidnapped by armed bandits in Government Girls Secondary School, Jengede. Police spokesman Mohammed Shehu said in a statement. Later that day, 7 out of the 317 female students abducted regained their freedom. Okay, let me start with you, Barrister Kaka. Let me have your general take and overview of this mass kidnapping. It is a big business, and for whatever strange reason, it's getting out of hand, and the security situation, security agencies in Nigeria seem not to have a solution to this mass kidnapping.
Thank you, Mr. Solo. Well, we thought with the sacking or relieving all the service chiefs of present, we thought that one will improve the security situation in the country. However, it's becoming alarming and on the increase. We think the government needs to take drastic measures and declare a state of emergency on this issue, because it seems there is no end to this issue of kidnapping, banditry, and even people speaking against it. We discover that they are being in the sense that otherwise the current person that was arrested by the DSS ought not to have been arrested in the first instance. And even the banditry negotiating with the federal government speaks volumes that they should release 6 out of their men that are incarcerated in exchange for those abducted. All these are uncalled for. It shows that the government, the security agencies, they are not in control. I think something to not ready to work. The president should continue to change guard. He should continue to change all these security chiefs until we are able to get those who will stabilize the security situation in the country. That is my take on this.
Shall be the primary purpose of government. So government exists for 2 reasons, one of which is the security of the people and the welfare of the people. Now what you have is that the criminality net has been expanded. Okay, right now we move from insurgency to herdsmen, killer herdsmen, from there now to banditry. From banditry now, we don't know the next direction, but this is just a accumulation of the fact that government has failed. The security architecture has collapsed, okay? Now, instead of the government to look at a possible solution to the problem, we have some clergyman by the name Sheikh Gumi, who is going to negotiate with the bandits, thereby creating a product. Because now it is a product. Because if you go and negotiate with the bandits and then you exchange funds, okay, for the sake of the release of the children, or they collect ransom, then you have inadvertently or indirectly created a product. Especially because these bandits have no specific reasons for what they are doing. During the militants in the Niger Delta, we were able to, I think, see that they were agitating for a development of the area. There was a reason, how be it, they had to carry arms to do so. Okay, and then when you look at the insurgency, the Boko Haram, their own reason, even though remote and unreasonable, say that they are against Western education. But these particular bandits, there's no reason whatsoever Okay, that was why.
But business is reason enough because it's become a big business.
That is what I'm saying. We have helped them to entrench into a product because before now we did call then that the gold mining that was going on in Zamfara is a dangerous thing for you to allow the state and then the bandits to control mining. That the Mining Act already, gave the federal government the powers for that. The Petroleum Act gave the federal government the exclusive powers to do that. And then whatever you have underneath the earth belongs to the federal government. But that was allowed to fester uncontrollably, and that is where the bandit originated from. It was from the merchants of gold in Zamfara state. That is where we started from. And today they have grown into a full-blown catastrophe that they are even going after children in their schools. You can imagine kidnapping 300. Okay, but you at the end of the day, that's why I say I don't trust this clergyman or the clergyman himself, Sheikh Gumi. I don't trust him. I don't know whether he's getting kickback or not, but I think that to move 300 girls away from a sport, okay, faster than the speed of military jets or security forces, then we have aid. There are a lot of aids to this, and there are a lot of persons are involved who have not been mentioned. So the Nigerian state need to work more. The federal government need to act fast. This lethargic attitude of the presidency and the security chief is one that calls for a lot of concern. And then not too long ago, we were asked to defend ourselves. Okay, contrary to the principles of governance. So what is the essence of governance if we have to defend ourselves? Why do we pay tax if we have to defend ourselves? Why do we submit our allegiance to you? Why do we give you mandate if we have to take care of ourselves?
To mention the security bill.
So yeah, and then the security and the rest of it. So I think we have gotten to a point where we need to do something fast before this country slips into a very dangerous situation.
Now, but from what we've learned over the years, especially the Kagara kidnapping, we learned so many. The bandits have leaders. I mean, like 2 weeks ago, one of the leaders came in to say he will assist in the rescue of the Kagara students, even though they are not in his custody, they are in another leader's custody. So he will help the Niger State government, I think, to negotiate and meet with the other bandits leaders, which means they have a face. And the government knows some of these people. So why do you think it's difficult, even though they know some of them, for them to deal with these people?
If Sheikh Gumi can assess them, the federal government, the security agencies know how to assess these people.
Exactly.
They know how to assess them.
So why aren't they taking advantage of that?
That is the problem, because at this point now, we are saying that if these people have a face and the federal government is not moving towards that direction, it means the federal government is complicit. It means the federal government they know something they are not telling us. Okay, it means that they are not ready to actually uproot the problem from the roots, because there's no other explanation one will give to say that now a leader came out and said he will help the federal. You can imagine random people who have no security background coming out to tell the federal government that they will help. I mean, it tells you that the federal government is helpless. It tells you that the federal government have decided not to take decisive action to make this thing to end. And that is the only explanation I can give to it. Otherwise, what will it take them to secure these schools, have security men in these schools, and then curtail the area, use technology to make sure that the area is kept safe? I actually don't know what it takes to do that. You just change the service chief. The new service chief now, what are their security strategy? What parameters are they bringing to the board that will help us to curb crime? We have not seen that.
Okay, let me hear you, Pastor.
I think there's conspiracy somewhere, and it is high time for Nigerians, not the federal government now, to rise up.
We all know a lot of the conspiracy, but then again, the federal government not coming out to say something decisive is actually giving credence to
that's the problem. That's what I'm saying. Not the federal government right now, but the citizens of Nigeria.
Okay.
I believe that some people are using this kidnap mechanism to raise funds, to dislodge and to cause mayhem in Nigeria. So they are gradually amassing wealth, because you cannot tell me that these people or these bandits release these hostages without money. So it means to me that they are accumulating a lot of money to do unthinkable things in Nigeria. And then we have people that are sympathetic to their cause in government. And so this kidnapping cannot stop. I mean, how can 100 people armed march into a school shooting and nothing happens? Are we saying?
And they have free pass.
They had a 3-day. They carried. In fact, if you look at some of the reports, some said they were on bikes. Some said the bandits walked into the school with guns.
Yes,
and some had vehicles, packed the girls into the vehicle. How many vehicles will pack 300? That's what you should. That means maybe 2 or 3 buses.
Yes.
With gun-trotting people. What I'm saying is this, and these things are predominantly in the north. The kidnapping has continued in the north. It is time for us to look deep. It is time for us to understand that this is a time bomb. Forget all these things that military people are not talking. I want to believe in my own situation that there is complicity in this matter. Whether you change service chiefs or not, I think it is turn by turn Nigeria Limited. Every service chief comes and nothing happens. They tell you that the bandits have almost been destroyed. The next thing they rear their ugly heads again. It is time for Nigerians to wake up. A man in Ibadan, Igbobo, rose up against the headsmen. The government went after him. Why? The governor of Ondo State expelled them from the bushes. The government went out after him. Why? Is it that they are enjoying this situation? There's cause to rethink, and we should do it very fast.
So in other words, it's a systemic thing.
Yes, it is.
It's not a matter of changing of service chiefs.
It isn't. It is not. It is not. It is, like I said, turn by turn Nigeria Limited. When they did service, I mean, come on. Jonathan was here, and then the Boko Haram struck. Everybody, even the current president, said, look, well, that guy, he doesn't know what he's doing. That he will come and end this thing in. No, they have seen it as like you said, business.
And the conspiracy theory then, especially during Jonathan's administration, is that it's because it's not a northerner that is in power.
Now they can see it's a juicy business now. It's juicy.
That was a conspiracy theory then.
We hear that a lot of billions of dollars go into this. I mean, how can a man come out and tell the government that he's negotiating with bandits and that he's now the spokesman man to bandits, and the government is keeping quiet? Really? They must be joking, and they must be talking to toddlers.
Okay, if I read your facial expression correctly, it looks like you really want to say something.
Yes. I think we are having a serious leadership problem in Nigeria. The reason I say so is because if you look at the structure of governance, ASU was on strike for about 10 months. The federal government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, could not address the issue for 10 months. Just fund university, that's all. They could not address it for 10 months. Now, when criminals, took over occupation of an axis in the north, kidnapping children, we saw a situation where it was allegedly stated that the said negotiator went into the place with certain funds in exchange for these people, and I told the federal government that he can negotiate and all that, and then the federal government condoned that. The federal government did not go after these people. But if you check recently, also 2 weeks back, in the east, the southeast, you find out that the federal government moved into that area.
The Olu and also
yes, the Eastern Security Network, to decimate people, indigenous people who form the vigilante to secure their forests from the invasion of Fulani herdsmen.
It's very easy to do that.
Okay, so you went there. You went there to destroy them. You had strategy for that. You had strategy to curb whatever you find abhorrent there. Okay, but in your own domain, in the northeast, in the northwest, where you have this banditry and all
like
that,
a stronghold.
yeah, it appears you have no strategy. You have soft spot for what is going on there. You are able to, to curb it. You are unable to clear the mess there. So, I mean, everything rises and falls on leadership. So we have a leadership problem in Nigeria. We have sectionalism. We have a system where the leaders are suffering from what I call partisan obscurantism. They are so obscured and blind to the problems of the state. They have not been able to see Nigeria as one entity, but a sectional geographical location where what is fair in one side, we will apply force in one side. The same activity in another side, you are co-fitted. So the federal government need to tell us more. They need to tell us exactly whether they are leading Nigeria or they are leading the North or they are leading which particular section of the country they are. And that is the reason people are calling for secession. That's the reason. Before now it has been Biafra. Later you heard Oduduwa because of failure of systems. Okay?
Okay, let me go back to Abeokuta where Barrister Kaka is on standby. Now, let me have your view on this. We've talked about it, but why do you think it is difficult for the federal government to fight the security situation, despite the fact that there are some figureheads, there are some personalities coming out where it is pointing to them that they either know something or they are part of the arrangement? Why do you think it's difficult for the federal government to deal decisively with the security situation using that apparatus? Okay, look, we've lost him. I'm trying to reconnect with us. Now, let me come to you now. Let's talk about the National Assembly, where we've talked about it here on several situations, where it's like the National Assembly, this is where they are supposed to come in. They're supposed to put a check, to the executive. But the executives are not coming out to say anything. The legislators are not coming out to say anything. They're not mounting pressure. Of course, they invited the president some time ago. He refused to appear, and it died down. I mean, we even heard they went back to beg him to apologize. So why are the National Assembly not having a say? Is it just the partisan thing where, of course, we know that it's a majority APC thing, but the opposition should be able to mount pressure? You see, they may not get the result 100%, but mount pressure on the majority of the National Assembly to put the president and the service chiefs, mount pressure on them for them to do more.
Yeah, you see, one of the most unfortunate things about this regime, is the inability of the National Assembly to function with the powers bestowed on them by the Constitution. Section 89, Section 88 and Section 89 has given them the power of oversight function, but they have not been able to manage it rightly. At the beginning of their tenure, they came out to tell Nigerians that they were not elected to fight the president, that whatever the president brings to them, they are going to approve it and accept it. And that has been the case. And these were people who Nigerians donated their allegiance to go and represent them and then exercise their power and functions. But what we have here is a weak Ninth Assembly that is so weak that they cannot even challenge the president some time ago was summoned. He refused to go there, like you said. And after that, the president has sent nominations for appointments. And the National Assembly approved them. You see? So it tells you that they even went to beg him, It tells you that it's an assembly that have not been able to give Nigerians that capacity, that return for the allegiance they donated to them, If in a serious democracy, the National Assembly by now, should be able to hold the president accountable to make sure that we have security in the land. The National Assembly, if they cannot do that, they will begin to resign in a serious democracy.
Yeah, we don't have that culture.
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
culture.
It's a problem for us because part of our problem, or the major part of our problem, is the National Assembly. Because if the executive is, going haywire, the function of the legislature is to knock them to order, bring them to alignment. Using the power, the separation of power and the check and balance that exists in governance to make sure that they conform to what is right and what governance should be. But in this case, we have a total flop. We have not been able to even organize the security architecture of the country, let alone holding the executive accountable to issues on ground.
Okay, let's go back to Abeokuta with Barrister Kaka, where I learned he's back online. Now, why do you think it is difficult for the federal government to deal decisively with these people, especially with the fact that we've heard some persons coming out, we have some names, there's a clergy, there was even a man that was making wave like 2 weeks ago that will help with the release of the bandit. Why aren't the federal government use these apparatus, use these personalities to try to see how they can deal with the security situation? It's not like they are faceless, it's not like they are ghosts. The federal government knows some of those people, so why do you think it's difficult for them to use these people to deal with the security situation?
Thank you very much. What is happening to us in Nigeria is a kind of in-house thing, in the sense that the federal government cannot claim ignorance, that they are not aware of the existence of these people. They cannot claim ignorance, that they don't know their whereabouts. If they are serious about ending this banditry, sort of, and any other form of insurgencies, they should ensure that those within the government are flushed out. Those within the government, many at times, in fact, it has been told by those within the government that we have these people among them in the legislative arms and the executive arms, and and in some of these government parastatals. Otherwise, the government will not be able to fight this to finish. They will not be able to end this banditry if they do not fish out these people and bring them to book. Many in the government, they are benefiting from all these insurgencies that we are experiencing in the country. Until things are put aright, that is when we will be able to put a stop to kidnapping. We will be able to put a stop to the fight between the Fulani herdsmen and the farmers. The government, I don't think they are serious about fighting or addressing this issue. Otherwise, the ordinary men on the street that are ready to assist, the federal government would not go after them. Sending DSS, police, and whatever after them in order to cow them so that they will keep quiet. Because they know that these people, they know the whereabouts of these people, and they have the wherewithal to actually assist the government in bringing these people to book, in bringing this banditry to an end. They are not ready to cooperate with these people because they know by the time, if they do not cow these people by caging them, that they will expose the federal government in the long run. And that is the reason they are quick at responding to say that they want to arrest these people. And that is why they arrested the Kano State governor, the aides to the Kano State governor, because they don't want people to open up. They don't want people to talk. But by the grace of poor God, people will continue to talk until we talk. Then we won't be able to achieve anything. It is time for people to talk. It is time for people to shout. Just like Fela talk, the condition has reached the stage that we have to shout so that people will hear, the government will hear, so that at the end, they will learn to do the right thing. That is what is happening.